Hello, welcome back to Chris's Beer Reviews. How are you? Hope you're doing really well. So no beer review on this one. It's mainly a thank you and a Merry Christmas to you all. So yeah, let's start with the thank yous. Thank you to everybody. Let's start with a burp. Oh dear me, I've not even been drinking. Thank you to everybody that subscribes to the channel, and thank you to everybody that watches the channel. You don't have to subscribe to watch the channel, so thank you to everybody that does watch. Thank you to everyone that subscribes. I enjoy it. I love doing it. I've got no plans of stopping doing beer reviews, and I've got a few other things coming up in the pipeline next year. I'm hoping to do a few more foodie stuff, which is food that I make, mainly sort of on the barbecues, etc., and a bit of outdoor cooking as well in the woods. A friend of mine, we've come up with an idea of something that we're going to do, and I'll tell you it won't be a big surprise, no big secret. It doesn't need to be a secret. Is one of my friends that I catch up with. The amount of times we've said we should have filmed that, you know. And what I mean by that is we just sit there chewing the fat over all sorts, and sometimes we end up in absolute belly laughter, sometimes talk about serious subjects, and we generally do that with a beer, and we think, well, could we capture that on camera? And trying to keep it as if it is realistic, just forgetting the camera's there. So we're going to try and do a few of those. We'll see how they go, see what you think of them, but they will be, we will be having a beer, of course, and we'll probably make our comments about the beer. So we've got that in the pipeline to do as well. You may have noticed I haven't put much content out over the last few weeks. That's because I've been quite unwell. If you're familiar with the channel, many of you that follow my channel will know that I do suffer with health problems. I have Crohn's disease and a couple of other issues. They've been really playing up a lot recently, and they still are now. Just sitting here right now, I'm in an extreme amount of pain. But I wanted to come on and just say thank you to everybody and talk about a couple of beers that I've really enjoyed this year. I did have a whole box of beers down there that I was going to go through, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if you like. Some beers were great, some beers were terrible, and I was going to talk about those. But you know what? I can't be bothered. I don't feel up to it. So I just thought I've just got 3 or 4 just highlight beers. Also, what's coming up on the channel is, as you can see here, is I now have a PD Pro that this arrived this week. So there'll be some more PD reviews where, you know, we can adjust the temperature. I mean, I love this machine. I've had this machine years and I love her. She's a great machine. But I wanted the Pro, but I'm never getting rid of this original baby. She is a treat. So I'm going to keep that one for mainly things like lagers, because this one can only go to 3 degrees. We know that. Whereas the PD Pro is temperature adjustable. So I'm going to use that for different types of beers where we can get the temperature up, which makes the beer taste better, such as the Belgian beers that we get from Perfect Draft. What did I have the other day? You know, I love Quack, but having Quack just in the standard machine, it's just pointless. It absolutely is pointless. I'd left a Winter that I had in there, which was okay, but when I put it in the Pro and changed the temperature, the difference in taste was amazing. So I'm glad I finally got a Pro, but this machine's going nowhere. She's still my baby. So we'll have some Perfect Draft Pro reviews coming up as well. I've not really been drinking because I've been unwell, but I have poured myself a little bit of Lambrell just to wet the whistle whilst I have a chat with you guys for a few minutes. Now, the interesting thing about these 2 machines, before I move on, is I've put 2 kegs in them today. And I pre-chilled them for exactly the same length of time in the freezer, an hour and a half. Pop them in the machines. Within 20 minutes, this one, the original, was saying that it's 3 degrees. Now, the keg in this one was in the freezer for exactly the same length of time as that one, but that's saying it's at 8 degrees. So which one of these is right? I found that quite interesting. When I put them in, I was like, okay, these are 2 completely different temperatures. They've both been in the freezer the exact same amount of time. Yet that's saying 3 degrees within 20 minutes. That's saying 8 degrees. Who knows? There you go. Just a pointless fact that I thought I'd share with you. Anyway, let's have another little wet of the whistle, and then I'll show you a few beers that have been some standout for me this year. I've had some great times on the beers this year. Has it been a really good year for beer? I don't think it has. I don't think it's been an exceptional year for beer. Certainly the craft beer front, I don't think it's been an exceptional year. You know, there's been some good beers and there's been a lot of rubbish. Certainly supermarket, there's been some real absolute hummers of supermarket craft beers. I think I was never an advocate of this, but I'm now getting to the point where I think craft brewers just don't go into a supermarket, just stop it. Unless you can produce good quality beers to put in a supermarket, you go with vocation, life and death, and their love and hate. Standout beers in a supermarket, and they're always standout. They're always fantastic. And Love and Hate was in my box down there that I was going to talk about. You know, they're staple core range beers that do not change. But trying to do anything different and putting it in a supermarket, we know the brewers are getting absolutely mullered on price, and they can't make the beers they were making a few years back because of increasing costs of ingredients, electricity, etc., supply chains. Everything's gone up, so we know they cannot produce those beers. So just don't bother. Just produce a good quality core range that I've banged on about for a long time, and do the odd website beers that are exceptional. I think it's done. Craft beers in supermarkets now. I was looking in Sainsbury's the other day, and there was just nothing that I wanted to take off the shelf other than Life and Death, Love and Hate. That was about it. Everything else I just thought, I can't be bothered. Oh, that's a lie. I picked up any Utopian lager, Bohemian lager, I think it was called. It was awful, absolutely awful. And Utopian Brewery make great beers, so let's just stop it. Let the macro world have their world of supermarkets. Let's just stick to buying our craft beer direct from the brewer, getting quality beers. Guinness, let's talk about the Guinness debacle while we're here. That's turning into a beer and a chat, this one, isn't it? The Guinness debacle of Diego running out of Guinness, people panic buying. Diego said it was to do with pubs, not cans. Everyone's gone out and panic bought Guinness. There's none in the supermarkets. I mean, it's just pathetic, absolutely pathetic. I mean, really, or is it clever marketing by Guinness? Crazy. But fair play to Guinness for, is now, I think, the number one selling beer. And yes, Guinness is a beer. People say Guinness isn't a beer. Guinness is a stout. A stout is a type of beer, just like an IPA is a type of beer. A lager is a type of beer. A barley wine is a type of beer, if you like. Sours are a type of beer. But yeah, Guinness is number one. And fair play to them. Fair play, fair play for younger people getting into stouts and Guinness, which is why we're seeing a lot more nitro stouts from craft brewers and other people bringing out nitro stouts. And there's some fantastic examples. So I think that is really good for the world of stouts and nitro stouts. So happy days. Guinness going up to number one brings up a younger audience, and they're willing to try other stouts as well. So that's fantastic. I think that is really, really good as well. So let's get on to some of the beers that have been standouts for me. One of them, well, most of them I've reviewed via one. I have reviewed all of them. I just haven't released the video yet of one of these, but let's go through them. So this was believe it or not, despite my love of beer, this was the first year ever I purchased a Fuller's Vintage. And I now seem to have a couple of them. I've got 2019 over there. I've got another 2024 in the house that I'm going to age. So yeah, that definitely gets a mention as one of my beers of the year, just solely because I've never had a Fuller's Vintage Ale, which I know that seems hard to believe, but I hadn't until this year. And so yeah, Fuller's Vintage Ale 2024, that was a fantastic beer, and I did review it. And I don't know why I've let them slip me by over the years. I really don't. But it won't be happening again, that is for sure. So yeah, Fuller's Vintage, great beer. This one I did actually review in the woods, which is kind of cool because this is called Trip in the Woods, a barrel-aged series pecan pie stout aged in bourbon barrels with vanilla bean and pecans from Sierra Nevada. Absolutely awesome brewery. Certainly always up there in my top sort of three of breweries. That was a fantastic beer. And yeah, of course, it's going to be expensive. It was probably, actually, I can't even remember how much it cost, but it's probably in the £8 range. Came in at 12.5% ABV. And as I say, I drank that in the woods, sitting next to a lovely roaring fire. And it was just beautiful. A beautiful moment to enjoy a beautiful beer. The setting was just so perfect. That was a glorious beer. That is one that I will not forget. Fantastic beer. I have reviewed it. If you haven't seen that review, go back and watch it. And then this one, I reviewed it. I haven't uploaded it. I reviewed this weeks ago, absolutely weeks ago, and just haven't got around to uploading it for some reason. It's from the Aslin Beer Co. out in the States. This is called How Now Brown Cow, a milk stout brewed with peanut butter and chocolate, coming in at a 6% ABV. Stunning. Probably beer of the year, that one. Probably is my beer of the year. I mean, that was up there as beer of the year, but I think that is beer of the year. The way the peanut butter in there, it is so bold. It is literally like scooping peanut butter out of a jar and having a hit of chocolate with it. It just completely works. Had amazing mouthfeel, an amazing body to it, lovely chocolate to it. The peanut butter was just outstanding. The only peanut butter stout that came close, what for me was actually always the best, was Belching Beaver's peanut butter stout. Nothing could rival that, in my opinion, until I had this. Absolutely glorious, glorious peanut butter stout. Seriously, it was like eating wholemeal peanut butter stout, not just the standard peanut butter stout, but like whole nut, wholemeal type peanut butter stout, or eating it rather, along with that chocolate and the body to it and the roastiness to it. Outstanding, absolutely outstanding beer. I picked that up on Trembling Madness. I think it may still be on there. Beer of the year, definitely worth picking that little bad boy up. So there are kind of 3 standout beers. Now there is one more that is a standout. And it's not going to be beer of the year because of the price of it. It was £48 for a 750ml bottle. It's just going to get an honourable mention because £48 is a lot of money to spend on a beer. And I reviewed this beer with Paul from Paul's Beer Reviews, and it was the Duvel Batch Number 4 Bourbon Barrel Aged, 9 months aged in oak barrels. To look at, it looked awful. It was a dreadful looking beer, but the taste and the drinkability was just obscene. It's an 11.5% ABV, but you could just quaff it. The tastes and the flavours in it were just superb, but it was just, we kept saying it on the video, it's just so drinkable. It's just so drinkable. Stunning, absolutely stunning beer. I'm really glad I purchased that, and I'm really glad I could bring it to the channel to share it with you. And bringing it to the channel to share it with you, yes, my channel is monetized. I'm never going to defend that because it allowed me to bring a beer like that to the channel, and I got to drink it with Paul from Paul's Beer Reviews, and we loved it. So it's thank you to your support that allows me to bring that to the channel, because £48 on a beer is not something I would normally spend. That, so I wouldn't spend my own money on that. So thank you very much for watching the channel, subscribing to the channel. It pays for that, and we can bring great beers to the channel, which could be, become like a Christmas idea, couldn't it? If you really wanted a good beer but you didn't want to spend your own money on it, you could say to someone, I've seen this video, this is a beer I want, buy it for me for Christmas. So that's great, isn't it, that we can share that, and that way you may be able to get it for Christmas or for a birthday or something like that. So thank you very much indeed. That is pretty much me done. How long will it be before I put another video? I'm not sure. Will it be this side of New Year? Very, very unlikely. My health is really not good. But I'm not going to go on about this. This isn't a sympathy vote. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just telling you. But I am still here. I will be back on reviewing, but it's going to be in the new year. I've got to get my Crohn's disease and things back under control before I can start cracking on again. I'm feeling like I really want to. I did want to do this video, but I've got lots of beers in that I just could have reviewed, and I just can't be bothered because, one, it probably isn't good for the Crohn's disease, and I just don't feel energized to do it. But I did feel energized to do this. However, thinking about it, I've got quite a few videos that I haven't released, so I could trickle those out. I'll definitely get this one out actually before the end of the year, and I will trickle out the others. So they may seem a bit out of sync with timings and things, but that doesn't matter. But if you want some more content, I've got some that I can upload for you. There you go, I'm all done. I didn't want this to go on by over 10 minutes, but we're coming up to 15 minutes. Thank you very much again for watching. Hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay safe and stay well, and I will see you all soon on another one. Take care.